This is Daniel P. Hello once again, and I'm not too sure how well I look on camera right now. I'm recording off of my phone. Hopefully I look good enough for this video here, but this is not about me. This is for anyone who is a drummer, and specifically if you have a Roland TD-30 drum set, which is the newest and very expensive drum set from Roland, and most people have said that it's probably the best electronic drum set that you can have. And this video is actually about a drum kit that doesn't exist on the TD-30. Just today, I was looking up this question and concern that a drummer had. The fact that there's no reggae drum set that is part of the um, combo package of all the different drum sets that you get on the TD-30. And now I have to say myself that the different variety of drum sets that are part of the the main brain of the TD-30 is actually nice, and I'm very satisfied by it. But my old Roland drum set, the TD, which one was it? Oh, the TD-9, that old one, that had a reggae drum set setting on that one. And so I decided that I would take the time out and to actually try and put a reggae drum style kit on the TD-30. And to the best of my experience and my knowledge, I actually did a little bit of a Frankenstein project here, which I'll show you right now. All right, there is the Frankenstein Project on the floor. And I basically just took my old TD-9 drum set out and I hooked it up just to the point where I can just tap on the pads there, so that way I could hear the samples from the reggae drum kit. And through my headphones, I then listened for the sounds, and then I was listening to my TD-30, which is right there in the corner. And I was listening to the samples that the TD-30 had, and I tried to match as best I could the sounds of the TD-30 with the sounds of the TD-7. I'd be TD-9, sorry. And I think I probably got a 95% accurate reggae drum kit for the TD-30 here. And I think it's really close to what the TD-9 has. So I took half the day to figure this out, and I think I got it down to a T, a D, 9, 30. Let me stop. I'm getting carried away here. So I'll just shut up now and let me get to what you came for, and that is to actually tell you where each sound goes on the kit, so that way you have your own reggae drum kit for the TD-30. Sorry, the TD-30. So the first part we'll work on is the snare drum. Now with this part here, you will have to do a little bit of editing to make it sound like the reggae snare drum that was on the TD-9 version. So this will be the only part of the drum set where you'll have to do not a lot of modification, but just a little bit. So the first thing you'll do is go through your list of snare drums in your instrument menu. And the snare drum you want to pick out is number 233, and the snare drum is called Rain. So then once you pick out that snare drum, you then will go to the shell option on the bottom there when you edit the snare drum, and you want to go to snare shell depth, and give the depth of that snare drum a 3.5. Once you do that, you then go to the head tuning, and on the bottom part of the two options, you go to head tuning and then change the tuning to a plus 18. And then once you have that done, the last thing you do is go to muffle, and on the muffling setting on top, you will then pick type 1 and put that little piece of tape or wherever that is on
the drum there. And that's all you do for the snare drum. Once you take care of that, then you'll move on to the rim. And with the rim, you will seek out number 245 40s maple stick. And that's what you look for when you're looking for the rim shot sound. And then you do a little bit of tuning with that by making the decay time +2. And the pitch also gets turned to a +16. And then once you're done with that part of the kit, then you can go and move on to the tom-toms. And with the tom-tom, with the third tom-tom, which is the right tom-tom, the one with the deepest sound, with that one, you're going to look for a number 461 18 classic T4. And that's the tom-tom that you want to pick out. And then with that, you do a little bit of modification. You go to head, and the head tuning for that will be +9. And then once that's done with, you go to muffle, and for the muffling setting, you will pick type 2. Once you're done with that, the rim shot sound for that tom-tom will be a tambourine. Now, with the rim shot sounds, you don't have to really pick out a specific sound, but they are not your typical rim shot. They are other instruments. And for that one, for this tom-tom, it will be a tambourine, and I just happen to pick out the number 839 tambourine. And so moving on a little bit forward, we have the second tom-tom, which is the one on the top right-hand corner. And for that tom-tom, you will seek out number 459 16-inch classic T3. No real modification for that one, except for a little bit of head tuning, which will be a +10. And then a number 2 on the muffling, type 2. And for the rim shot sound, you will pick out a cowbell sound for that rim shot. And then we move on to the last tom-tom, which is the one on the top right-hand corner, and that one is going to be a timbala sound. And I have 2 different type of timbala sounds for the top right tom-tom. And that is where you get the high-pitch steel drum sound that is part of the reggae kit. And then we have the hi-hat. And the hi-hat is number 616 14 dark. And that's the hi-hat that you want to look for when you're looking for your hi-hat. And then we have the crash cymbal, which is a number 642 16 custom CREG. And that is the crash cymbal to look for. And then we have the ride cymbal, which is a number 725 20 customized ride. 725 20 custom RD. And then we go on the side, and we have our other crash cymbal, which is on the right-hand side. And for that crash cymbal, I went ahead and added another kind of reggae sound to it. I actually put in a little bit of a dub sound to give it that kind of electronic feel. So I didn't really put a second crash cymbal for that one. I just gave it a nice little weird effect. And so it all depends what you want. I just put in a sound effect just to give it that dub kind of sound. And then The last one to work on is the bass drum. And the bass drum that you want to look for is a 62 dry. There's another dry version that you can pick out too, but again, it's all about what you want. And the original bass drum sound is a dry sound.